Hey, it's dinner time, and tonight we are doing the roasted vegetables, the side dish that goes with your main course of meatloaf. And let's take a look at the recipe. I have everything out that I need. So we're going to be using 2 bell peppers. We're going to chop those up. 2 carrots peeled and sliced. 1 zucchini chopped. 1 broccoli crown chopped, and 1/2 of a red onion chopped. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1.5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Salt. Pepper. A baking sheet, which I have behind me, and a spoon. Well, we're also going to need a peeler and a knife. All right, let's get started. Now, just so you know, my hands are washed, and also I have already washed all the vegetables. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I think, is slice the carrots. And first we need to peel them. So I'm gonna just cut the ends off. Oh, I'm sorry. We're also supposed to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. My oven is preheating right now, so it should be ready by the time I'm done prepping all these vegetables. Okay, I finished peeling the carrots. Just gonna put them over. This is what we call a garbage bowl. I'm just gonna put, like peeling and seeds and stuff in there for now. All right, I think I'm gonna grab the baking sheet so that I can place the prepared vegetables there as I go. Okay, so we're just gonna cut these into coins using my knife. These parts are pretty large. I'm gonna put those aside. If we need more carrot, I'll cut it, but I think we're looking pretty good here. Okay, what should we do next? Let's do pepper. So I like to chop my peppers. I like to just slice the top off like so. And then I just kind of go around like this, kind of cut around the middle. And then I'll just put this in this bowl, that in the bowl. So this calls for 2 bell peppers. It doesn't specify what colors, so you could choose green, red, you could do orange, yellow. I think yellow would be kind of fun because it would give more color variety on your tray there. So I'm just gonna cut it into some chunks. They don't have to be perfectly even or uniform. My bird Billy's making some sounds back there. So if you hear a bird chirping or singing, that's my Billy. All right. Next. So as you have probably realized, this recipe is mainly just chopping vegetables, and then I'll show you how much seasoning the recipe calls for, and then it goes in the oven. Pretty easy. All right, and there's my red pepper. All right, let's do zucchini next. I actually watched a video on how to chop this, even though I have my own way of doing it. So I'm going to show you what I learned from a professional chef. First, he said to cut the ends off. And then he said to slice through the middle lengthwise. And then a second time. Basically quartering your zucchini. And from there, just cut it into pieces. And I think for zucchini, a little bit bigger is better because zucchini cooks really quickly. So you don't want it to be too small. Really quick. Okay, and on the tray it goes. Actually, I'm going to make this one a little smaller. All right, broccoli next. All right, so the best way to cut a broccoli crown into florets is to kind of take that big stem off first. And then you can either just kind of tear them off like that size, or you can just cut each one off individually. Yeah, this will need to be, I'm going to cut the stem a little bit more. And then I can just pull the florets off pretty easily. So I think for my family and just my taste, I might in the future get 2 broccoli crowns instead of 1. Because our family actually, we all like broccoli at my house, which is nice. And I decided very deliberately to save the onion for last in case I started to cry. All right, so here's our onion. And it says that the onion's going to be chopped as well. So it doesn't specify how big it needs to be. So I'm going to just do it the way I would like to do it. So I'm going to cut an end off. And then I'm going to cut it in half. So the end that I cut, I'm putting down on the bottom, and then I'm going to cut through, and I'll set half of it aside, and then it needs to be peeled. Cut this little end off as well. That'll help the peeling come off a little better. And then I'm just going to go along, you can see these little seams. I'm going to kind of go along every other seam. So that it's a little bit thicker than if you were just slicing onion. And then I'm going to turn it and do the other way. Go. All right. If you have other techniques of how to chop an onion, I would love to hear about it. That it has never been my strongest skill, so I'm always open to learning new techniques and finding out how you guys like to do things. All right. So this is all the chopping. And look at this tray of vegetables. It's going to be great. Make sure you can see it, otherwise that would not be good. Okay. So here are all our vegetables. Looking very colorful and delicious. All right, so I mentioned 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I have my tablespoon right here. Some of this out of the way. And remember, the tablespoon is the biggest one with the capital T. And you want to make sure you get it all covered as best as you can. So there's 1. And 2. All right, then it calls for a teaspoon and a half of Italian seasoning. So I have Italian seasoning. Remember, teaspoons are the lowercase t. That doesn't want to fit. Okay, I'm going to use my half and do it 3 times. And then lastly, salt and pepper. It says salt and pepper onto vegetables to taste. And so what that means is you are going to just add as much salt and pepper as you want to make the vegetables taste good. I wouldn't go too overboard yet, but seasoning is always a good thing. So I have sea salt, which I like to use. I'm just gonna kind of go over, try and get as much of them as I can. And then with the pepper, I'm gonna go a little bit lighter, but that's just me. You might like pepper a lot. And then lastly, stir. Just to help ensure that as much of the vegetables are covered in the olive oil as possible. I'm breaking up some of the onion chop. This is going to probably smell really nice as it's baking. Okay. Finally, we're gonna put it in the oven for 25 minutes. My oven is already preheated, 400 degrees, remember? All right, and while that's happening, I'm gonna clean up this area a little bit because I was a little bit messy. And Christy's gonna be making meatloaf and showing you how to do that. And I hope that while you're preparing your vegetables, you may be thinking about other ways you can incorporate them into a meal. Tonight I'm gonna make white rice and some thin teriyaki steaks. So I think that'll be a really nice combination. So we'll see you in 25 minutes. Okay, I just pulled the vegetables out and they are steaming. They look really good. One thing I wanted to just let you guys know is that the broccoli might look a little bit singed, and that is just what broccoli does. And to be honest, that's my favorite way to eat broccoli. So enjoy. This is going to be great with the meatloaf, and see you next month.